we always used to go to church. Because I was Catholic. And I've never been able to find my place. I've always felt either weird or just not the same. Just not the same.
But there was a time that you heard about Jesus.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Carlos Rivas. I'm currently living in El Paso, Texas. I used to reside in Phoenix, Arizona. I am a full-time artist. I am the guy who painted the alley behind the Arizona Latino Arts and Cultural Center.
So Carlos, you have here Service Nistum. What's that all about?
One day I was going to say nervous system, and
Yeah.
I said service system, and I just
flowed
fell
from
in love
there?
with it. Yeah. I don't know what you call it. I think it's dyslexic.
Uh-huh.
I'm dyslexic because ever since I was young, I would do the number 3 backwards. The letter E, I've always done backwards, and so sometimes my head says things not
Right.
Not right. Yeah. I lived in this alley for 6 years. Not in the alley per se, but I had a studio right here behind the Latino Cultural Center. When I came to the Cultural Center, I had just got divorced, and so I had been homeless for 2 weeks. Yeah, it was definitely a hard time. This alley, when I first got here, right here where those dumpsters are.
Right.
I came out to throw the trash once, and when I was throwing the trash, 2 guys came out with a skillet. They were cooking crack.
Oh, wow.
Right here in this alley.
Right here in the alley.
A week after that, there was a fight in one of these clubs. So I don't know how it made it all the way up, and they threw one of the guys down.
Wow.
So again, one of the mornings we came out to throw trash, there was a body covered up. They told us to go back inside. A body.
Dead body.
It was right
wow.
there. So it just started bothering me because we're part of the Latino Cultural Center, and then the convention center's here.
Yep.
The Suns play right here. The Diamondbacks are right there, and everybody would pass by here, and
Right.
these are nightclubs right behind us.
Yep.
So there's a bunch of, everything that comes
Yep.
with, And in the back,
Yeah, that body didn't get here.
I'm sorry.
I said the body didn't get here.
Exactly.
Just on his own.
He wasn't sleeping. We're resting. He
Yeah.
was dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told you I lived here 6 years. So every 3rd of July, you'd hear the fireworks, and I'd come out and get scared, and then see the fireworks, and immediately think, God, I wish my kids were here. I've been in there the whole day.
Yeah.
And one day I remember I said, God, someday I'm gonna just cut all my out and dedicate time to my kids, and I'm gonna be inside that game.
Seven's name is up here.
Yeah.
and-
So you were talking about my son Seven.
Yeah.
The reason why I've always felt guilty because I didn't know how to balance things. I wanted to paint, and this is all I would do. No matter what was going on around me, I wouldn't pay attention to anything but this. And that was a way for me to let them know that, hey, even though I'm doing this and I'm always gone, look, you're always at the top of my list, and you're what drives me. And that's Carlos right there too. That's the K. You'll find a teddy bear or a K, and you'll always find a number 7. And I don't want to. The freedom I had in the beginning, it's not a bad freedom. It's just I wasn't taking advantage of what I had.
That's key.
I was misusing everything because I was doing drugs.
Right.
I don't know. I lost hope for a while. I lost hope in people for a while.
Yeah.
I just got done wrong by a girl. So I left the apartment, and this is all I had, my studio. So I just started living here, and I don't know. I just made do with what I had. So I had a pump sprayer.
Yeah.
And I would get hot water from in here, right here in this club. I would go fill it up with hot water because I knew that guy that sweat out there.
Right.
And then I'd come in here, go behind the generator, and just take a shower, spray myself down with like a gallon and a half of water.
Yeah.
So I was saving water too.
Yeah.
When I had the freedom that I wanted, where I could do drugs, where I could just stay up as late as I wanted, do whatever I wanted.
Yeah, because you're nocturnal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You came out here and you painted and you got into the zone.
Yep.
And you stayed.
But if you notice, the freedom that I had then, look at where it had me. It had me amongst a bunch of filth, amongst the trash, in the back of the building.
Yep.
In a dirty alley. I don't know, I kind of felt responsible for what was going on. And I just started painting it. Just started painting it without asking for permission, and I didn't ask for permission. What I did is I took pictures of all the floor. So there was a bunch of poop. Seriously, there was a lot of poop here. I don't know why, but people I guess because you can kind of hide. And I took pictures of all that, and then I started painting. Like what I did back then, it could have easily landed me in jail. It could have easily gotten me shot. But at the time, I didn't care. I remember I got caught the third day.
Wow.
So the night that I got caught, that guy goes, "Why are you doing this? This is my building, and how dare you? You can't do this to my building."
Right.
And I took those pictures out. I go, "All right, dude, look, it's your building, but look at what you're doing with your building, and look at what I want to do with your building. Like, why are you getting mad at me?" And something clicked. It's funny because I got caught, and I just talked my way into them giving me money that same night.
That's cool.
They ended up letting me go and giving me $350 for more paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just worked my way in and became the resident artist.
Yeah.
And then just started putting in petitions to get this alley cleaned up. Just made it happen,
Yeah.
We got money donated. We asked for paint. We asked for free rollers, whatever we could get.
Right.
And and I don't know. That sort of gave me an energy. Being at the bottom kind of gave me this feeling of I can't go any lower.
Right.
So let's just go up.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I don't know. I felt unstoppable for a time, but it's just I had no ladder, so you just gotta get up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm about something, I'm about something.
Yep.
I'm into it, and I'm all for it. I don't care if I get shot. I don't care. And he saw me being persistent. He caught me climbing the pipe once, and he goes, "What are you doing? You're gonna fall, and I'm gonna get sued." And so he rented scaffolding for this. So just you just learn as you go, and that night I learned that if you just keep going and you just keep trying, I mean, it doesn't matter. I couldn't worry about what I didn't have.
Right.
Being given that chance, I couldn't be like, "Oh, well, I don't have a ladder. Never mind. I'm gonna go inside."
Right.
No, dude, I'm gonna climb that pipe and I'm gonna go up. And he caught me here, and just him watching me climb up there, he goes, "No, I'm gonna rent you scaffolding," and he scaffolded this whole wall.
That's cool.
Yeah, and for 2 weeks straight, I just went at it. But somewhere along the way, I think I got lost here because it was just, I don't know, it feels grand, it's just a dirty alley, but at the same time, we brought so much beauty to this alley.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you'd see people come in and just looking scared like that.
Yeah.
Then after this happened, they would be captivated, and they didn't even realize it's a greasy, dirty, stinky alley,
I've seen models with photo shoots out
cars,
here. I've seen cars, commercials.
Here, yeah. So I started dreaming, and I'm really interested. It's really interesting to me when you dream. I wonder where dreams come from, or what something is trying to communicate with you. And that time, I dreamt of Virgin Mary. And I remember I was gonna fall off a cliff, and I would see her to the side, and I'd make my way over there. And when I would hold on to her feet, she would look at me and just get angry and open one eye in her forehead, and I would let go and fall. I had that dream for a while, and I don't know. I started doing the Virgin Mary, just like I dreamt her.
I'm remembering you telling me about a conversation that you've had with your dad one time, just with the Virgin Mary. Just what were you sharing with me that time concerning about the Virgin Mary?
He gave me hell for the longest time because I started searching, because when that happened, I go, well, it didn't feel right, and I just didn't feel the same anymore. And then I started thinking, church used to be in Latin, so I never understood anything they said. So how are you supposed to learn anything? And every time I would ask, I would get pinched. So I don't know, I just started kicking my head. Something's not right here. And I started feeling a need for something spiritual, because I started going to churches. Not to churches, to church.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, I was never a cold person. I was never, I never got cold. I always had feelings, and I always cared about people. And
you were an image bearer.
Yeah. So I started going to church, and I don't know, I really found God.
Remember whenever we were out in the street on Taylor, going over the theology of God, understanding God, and who He is, and you said that there was a difference that time made, on the street, going over visual theology and talking about God, and just just how that encouraged you and strengthened you, and just the difference between what Christ does versus the inspiration you got from the drugs.
Like drugs give you a certain sense of, I don't know, you're scared when you're on drugs. You're scared. I don't care who you are, because you're in another realm, and you think you're hearing voices, but those voices are really there.
Yeah.
I mean, those are bad spirits. Those are demons sometimes. Those are. I mean, I've seen some stuff that it's. I mean, granted, yeah, you're under the influence, but still, you know in your heart that there's something evil there, and you know why. Just that time that you read there with me, that we studied, your voice when you were doing it, and I wasn't high. I was sober by then.
Right.
I had already finished fighting what I was fighting. I was still smoking, but I mean nowhere how I used to be.
Right.
But that day when you spoke, your word carried it carried throughout the whole street. It's almost like it filled the street. And I remember after you finished and you went inside, I stayed out, and it was I just felt safe. I just felt safe, and I felt like we had done something to that street, and it felt like truly, truly, truly ours.
Because we were talking about the one true God. God the Father is one. God the Son is one. God the Holy Spirit is one.
That was really, really, really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that helped a lot. After that, it didn't feel as eerie. I just felt safe.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's what the difference is between being on drugs and being, like, there's a true safety, and you just know it, and you're just, I'm not saying you're not scared, but you know it's going to be all right. Whatever it happens, it's going to be all right.
You have the truth of the gospel.
Exactly. I was never going to get out of dirtiness and darkness. I'm not downing it by no means, but but it is symbolic. I mean, whether you like it or not, I noticed that right away when I would come back, because over there was clean, it was nice and cool, it was comfortable, and over here it was just so uncomfortable, and so anything could happen here. But over there, I was going to be held accountable for what I was doing. Over here, I wasn't. So when I was there, I was trying to clean up Tater Street, and it really bothered my dad.
Yeah.
He felt betrayed because of what I was doing, but you know, so many times I had so many questions, and they just didn't know the answers. I'm not blaming it on them. They probably don't know that they don't know. Yeah. Through it all, I still love God. I can't tell you I didn't love God, and He was in Him. I mean, I couldn't have done things like this without Him.
Right.
You know, like really magical stuff happened. Like one of them was Mer. My studio door was open, so one day he just walks in, and he sees the Virgin Mary, and he goes, "Oh, what's this?" And we had a really long conversation, and that's when we became like this. Because Mer, I mean, me and Mer are two very different. We come from two very different worlds, and the way we clicked and the way we hung out from then, it's like. That's God, you know. That's God. For God, there are no barriers, because God Med knows a lot of people, and Med introduced me to a lot of people. He was key in my journey. And how he would just show up, and I've always been really squirrely too, and really just, you know, and Med makes me feel like I'm slow, because he's so fast.
He's so quick.
And I got to meet a lot of people through it all. I mean, I always gave God glory, because I never felt like this was me. Like I made this happen. Just circumstances and just God having a plan. Because if I hadn't done this, maybe I wouldn't have got the other gig, you know, the church, because of all the pain. You know, this is really helpful if you're using it correctly, like we're using for the church to bring out a message. It's really powerful. So behind us, I'll forever be grateful to them for just being so supportive of artists, you know, seeing somebody, because I've always looked at him, you know, just some dirty guy in an alley, and he's painting your building, and for them to take the time to listen to me and support me, I'll never forgive that.
With the gospel, how has the gospel been transforming your life now? Just that freedom compared to the freedom you had that maybe took you away from some things that you really loved and cared for, and you missed, but now, how has Christ brought more light?
I feel like Christ has made me more of a man, because before I was almost like a child. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and if I didn't, I did what I wanted to do. I was a bad child, and now it's like I have priorities, I have responsibilities, I have to be somewhere on time. I can't just blow it off, and I don't know, the feeling that I get from that, it's a really good feeling. I've never had that feeling. I've always felt like I'm in trouble or nobody likes me.
Yeah.
That nobody likes me. I don't fit in. But it was really me not trying to fit in or not doing what I was supposed to. So I was trying to go against the current, and then I was
Right.
complaining that it was too hard to swim.
Yeah.
Kind of, you know. I'm more grounded, I think, because now, I mean, I still get inspired. That's not a problem. All I have to
Right.
do is turn on the music, like you said. But now, what's so inspiring is that I don't need a substance, or I don't need something controlling me, or I'm really free because I'm not tied to something, you know, nothing's holding me down. So that's really inspiring in itself. And you know, just like I get satisfaction from this, I found something else now. I don't know, he's made me stronger.
That's right.
I thought I was unstoppable before, but now I know I'm not unstoppable, but through him. But I just want to make sure I bring him glory through everything I do and through what I say
Yep.
and my decisions I make. And it's not always going to be what I want. I don't know. Now I can't do everything I want, but I feel more free than when I could do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
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 It's so strange. I don't know.
Right.
It's almost a contradiction, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You were talking about just drugs and dreams. What's the difference now? Where do you get your inspiration? Where do you get your encouragement now? Because back in the day, you were mellow, you were chilled,
Yeah.
and you got into the zone.
Yeah.
And you had your music behind you,
Yeah.
and it gave you focus, and you could do Carlos all day and night.
Yeah. Well, now it's just more. And I know this comes from God. This isn't me. You know, this is just me being inspired by what God creates. The sun, flowers, and then you're inspired by God creating flowers, but at the same time, you're the flesh. You know, we're bad, we're evil. So you see the faces inside some of the flowers. It's just
Yeah.
yeah. But no, I'm really inspired by just accomplishing stuff and doing stuff. You know, you get there and there's nothing there, and by the time you're gone, it's a whole different picture. And you just bring joy to people, and I like being honest, and I like being. If I say I'm gonna do something, and I do it, I like the look on people's faces. Like, you're here, like you said, you'd be here, and you're here, and they're so happy, and
Right.
just being a good guy brings me a lot of inspiration right now.
Right.
And it gives me a lot of strength because I picked the wrong time to do what I'm doing. I'm older now.
Yeah.
So I was a lot stronger when I was younger, but still, I don't know how we do it. We get jobs done.
Yeah.
And the guys that work with me I'm passing that on.
That's right. Well, that's pretty neat. Just with God created you in God's image, and even before Christ, you are living out your creativeness, just the creativity that God gave you.
Yeah.
And that was cool. And that's Christ. That's Christ at work.
That's not me. Like, I can't believe I'm telling you
Yeah.
that's me, because before I'd be like, I'll be there if I want to be there. I'm painting.
Right.
I'm painting, and that was kind of, I don't know, that was kind of arrogant and kind of selfish.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, this being 4th of July, celebrating freedom, that we're talking about freedom.
Right.
And just realizing what Christ has done in his death, burial, and resurrection. He's come and he's provided a way for us in his body being broken and his blood being shed. And he makes us new. He transforms us from the inside out.
It's funny that you say that, because when people used to be afraid to pastor here.
Right.
And there came a point when they had events here.
Yeah.
Because of what we were doing.
Yep.
You know? So it takes on a whole new meaning, and it's something that nobody owns. Nobody. It's not even mine, because I can't take it with me.
Right.
I mean, it came out of me. It poured out of my heart, but it's, I don't know. It's just really amazing. Something more beautiful came out of all this.
Have the truth of the gospel.
Exactly.
That Christ, that God the Father sent Christ the Son. And Christ the Son went to that cross. But he lived a perfect sinless life before he went to that cross. He was buried.
Right.
Third day he rose again according to the scriptures.
Right.
And that's a beautiful truth, that he is risen. He ascended into heaven, and he left the Holy Spirit for us to continue to do life. And as we surround ourselves with scripture, get into the word, as we surround ourselves with the truth of just fellowship with other believers as we live by the Spirit. The Lord enables us to live out the truth. And so it's a precious truth.
It is.
Love you, man.
I love you too. It's been a crazy journey.
For sure.
Tell your story, man.
All right, so today this piece that we're doing, it's a collaboration between Anthony and I. What this is we're gonna have the word faith, hope, and love, and around those three words is gonna be a bunch of flowers, vines, just life and beauty, because that's really what those three words represent. So what this wall represents to me is wherever you have hope, wherever you have faith, wherever you have love, you're gonna have beauty, and that's what all the flowers represent. The vines represent the life that all those three words bring. Well, this wall, of course, represents the church. It's Mercy Hills Church. It's Mercy Hills wall, and for me on this wall, it all started about about 7 years ago. When I became part of Mercy Hill. I don't know, just riding on the train here in Phoenix, you see a bunch of sad faces, a bunch of people who have lost hope, a lot of people who don't have any faith, and just the looks in their eyes, I don't know, it would captivate me in a way that, I don't know, I just couldn't let it go, and I couldn't stop thinking of it. It saddened me how many people were just dead inside. There's a wall around them and they don't even know it. I mean, they're crying out for help just with their eyes, but just by looking in their eyes, you could tell they weren't happy, they were hurting. And there's nothing you can do because everybody acts like they're okay, like they're tough, like they don't need anybody. So it's really hard to reach out to people when they act like that. They don't even realize that they need help sometimes. And so we did a really powerful wall where it said, "We are the broken," us included, the church. And it just got a lot of attention. A lot of people were uncomfortable with that wall. But the funny thing is they were uncomfortable with that wall, but it's a huge, huge way to communicate with the community without even having to try. Because, I mean, you can avoid the pastors, you can avoid coming to church, but you can't avoid driving by here and looking at the wall and reading a quick, powerful message. It was just a really cool experience for me. And so that was the first wall we ever did. Ever since then, we've just been changing it up and it gets tagged or it just gets dull. And either Anthony or one of the other pastors will come up with an idea and we just make it happen. And so that's what this wall is. And so we're hoping this message will be just as powerful as all the other ones. It's just going to have the three very simple words: hope, faith, and love. And around those words is going to be a bunch of life, a bunch of beauty, a bunch of just pleasant stuff, fruit, just stuff that myself and the kids have thought up of. But it's all going to be positive, and hopefully it'll be just short and sweet, and people will get the idea of what we're trying to say with beauty, you know? So that's what this wall's all about.